Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're the place you come to sift through the sources, get those insights you really need.
Yeah.
Today, well, we're embarking on something pretty fascinating and, honestly, quite unique for us, our source material. It's not your usual research paper, not an article, not even a book chapter. Nope. We've actually got a transcript from a YouTube highlight video. Features Mike Tyson.
Yeah, it's definitely an unconventional source, you could say. And what jumps out, like right away when you look at this transcript, it's the mix. It's overwhelmingly these repetitive song lyrics. The track is called Extreme Ways. And then mixed in just tiny, really fragmented bits of boxing commentary.
Right.
It's an odd combination. And, well, that's kind of what makes it interesting to dig into.
Exactly. So our mission here today, it's really to unpack what this specific blend, the words, the sounds, the implied visuals from the highlights.
Right.
What does it actually communicate? Specifically about the persona of Mike Tyson, but only as it's presented in this video. How do these pieces, the lyrics and these super quick fight moments, how do they work together? How do they create this impression? And just to be clear, we're going to stick strictly to what's in this transcript.
Okay.
So with a source like this, so unusual, what's the very first thing that really grabs you when you start reading?
Well, it's interesting. Almost the very first line you see is this huge declaration. It says, "Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the undefeated heavyweight champion of the world." Just boom, sets the stage, right? Undeniable dominance, invincible, very grand, almost ceremonial.
Yeah, big opening. And then, immediately, you're hit with these lyrics from Extreme Ways. The line, "Extreme Ways are back again, extreme places I didn't know," that shows up really early and keeps coming back. It's not just stating something. It feels like it's suggesting a pattern, maybe, a cycle. Like these challenging, maybe dark experiences are just constant in this person's life. It feels bigger than just one fight, more like an ongoing thing.
And what's really fascinating, I think, is how quickly those lyrics bring in this feeling of a rough environment, almost troubled. You get phrases like dirty basements, dirty noise, dirty places coming home.
Yeah.
Repeatedly.
Yeah, that stands out.
And that's not the glamour you associate with a champion, is it? It paints a picture of maybe a harsh upbringing or just a difficult reality, way different from the spotlight. It adds this gritty layer right away. It suggests the champion came from struggle.
And the lyrics, they keep building on that theme, don't they? Struggle and maybe self-protection. Lines like, "Too many things could cut me," or "Too much could make me blind."
Right.
That really speaks to feeling vulnerable, maybe, or just overwhelmed. And there's this idea of shutting down. I close my eyes, I close myself and close my world and never open up to anything, or that could get me at all. I had to close down everything. I had to close down my mind. That sounds like a really powerful defense mechanism, like needing to isolate yourself because the pressure or maybe the pain is just too intense. For a fighter, that's quite an image.
It does make you wonder, though, is that closing off, that hardness from enduring things, is that where the power comes from? The lyrics also say over and over, "I've seen so much in so many places, so many heartaches, so many faces, so many dirty things you couldn't even believe."
Yeah.
That's not just tough talk. That suggests a deep history, right? A life lived through some really intense, probably painful stuff. It gives this depth, gravitas even, to the figure in the video. Suddenly, the highlight reel isn't just about physical skill. It becomes a story of, human endurance.
But what's really striking, to me anyway, mixed in with all this struggle and the boxing moments, is that phrase, "Oh, bab, and it fell apart."
Oh, yeah. That one repeats a lot.
It shows up again and again. It's almost like this sad little refrain. It hints at fragility, or maybe a cycle of building things up and having them collapse, or just that success doesn't last.
Yeah.
It's like a sharp contrast, almost heartbreaking, when you think back to that opening line about the undefeated champion.
It is stark contrast. And the way that line, "then it fell apart," repeats, it creates this almost haunting background noise, doesn't it? Especially against the few really explosive bits of boxing commentary we get.
Those quick bursts.
Like, Mason attacks, immediately cuts off the ring, throws the wild right hand, and then later there's a combination uppercut by Tyson and then on Corian down goes Bruto into the ropes.
There's fragments of action.
Exactly. Moments of pure, raw power and action, dominance. But here's the thing. The fact that there's so little commentary isn't a weakness in this context. It feels deliberate. It creates this narrative space, a void. And that allows the lyrics, the song, to really take over as the main way we interpret what's happening.
So, okay, let's try and pull this all together then. What does it really signify? You've got the raw power, the undisputed champ status of Tyson.
Hmm.
But then it's set against these really personal, almost sad lyrics. The song obviously isn't about Tyson specifically,
Right, not literally.
but by putting it over his highlights, it creates this implied story. It completely reframes how you see the action. The knockouts, the aggressive moves. They're presented not just as strength, but maybe as acts coming from this world of extreme ways and dirty basements and things that, fell apart.
Yeah.
It's more than just dramatic effect. It kind of forces you to rethink Tyson's dominance, doesn't it? Suggests his power isn't just physical talent, but maybe this raw expression of survival, forged in hardship.
Absolutely. The emotional feeling of the music totally reframes the action you're seeing. The video title mentions power, speed, defense combination. Okay, fine. But now those things are shown against this lyrical background of resilience, maybe born from a harsh life.
Right.
And maybe this constant threat of it all unraveling.
Even at the top.
Even at the peak of success, yeah. So those quick, visceral moments of combat, Mason attacks immediately, down goes Bruto. They become these really stark, almost brutal punctuation marks against the inward-looking lyrics.
It's not just contrast, though, is it? It's like they merge.
It's an amalgamation. Exactly. The physical aggression gets soaked in the meaning of the lyrics. It makes the punches feel, I don't know, not just powerful, but almost inevitable, or maybe even like a release, given the emotional stuff the music describes.
And that other repeated line, it always does, always does.
Right. That just nails down that feeling of inescapable cycles, perhaps.
Wow. Okay, this has been pretty revealing, actually, for such a strange source. It's really fascinating how most of the information we pulled out didn't come from, like, boxing stats or fight records.
Not at all.
It came from the feeling of those extreme ways lyrics
Yeah.
put together with just these tiny flashes of action from the ring.
It really does show how things that aren't explicitly stated, non-explicit elements can be incredibly powerful in shaping how we perceive something. We saw how those recurring themes from the lyrics, the dirty basements, dirty noise, the feeling that too many things could cut me, and definitely that haunting, then it fell apart, how they built this deep, almost story-like background for the boxing clips.
Yeah, a whole narrative.
It's pretty amazing how they combine to give this heavier, almost tragic weight to moments like Mason attacks immediately, throws the wild right hand, or that combination uppercut by Tyson, sending Bruto into the ropes.
So maybe something for you, the listener, to think about as you consume media. Think about this. How do different kinds of media, even something that seems really simple, like a highlight reel on YouTube or just a short video clip,
Yeah.
how do they use these background elements like music, like lyrics, to shape how you perceive the subject, how they guide your understanding?
Mm-hmm. What are the powerful underlying stories being subtly suggested? Even when nothing is explicitly stated, they might be guiding you to interpret someone's actions or their whole persona in very specific ways, often quite deep ways.
It's a good reminder, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sometimes the things left unsaid or just implied by the soundtrack can actually be the most powerful message of all.